on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here. Since today is a holiday, I thought that I would take this moment to talk to you about the Star Wars Holiday Special. You have probably heard legends of it. This is available on YouTube. You can watch this pretty easily. And if you have not seen it, if you don't even know what it is, it came out in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back in 1978, I think. And it is basically the plot is Chewbacca needs to get to his homeworld to celebrate the holiday of Life Day with his family. And then there's various obstacles keeping him and Han from getting to his family. So it is about 3 minutes of plot stretched out into a 90-minute holiday special. And it is as bad as you have heard. If you've heard that it's one of the worst things ever, it's actually probably a little bit worse. In fact, you would think if I described the plot in that way that it would actually be about Han and Chewbacca trying to get to Chewbacca's home, but they are barely in this. Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, they are in this, but just barely. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher are both Skyping with Chewbacca's family at different points saying, oh, Chewbacca hasn't gotten home yet? Well, stiff upper lip, he'll get there soon. And then you get to briefly see R2-D2 and C-3PO, but mostly this is about 87 minutes of look at Chewbacca's family doing something silly. At one point, Chewbacca's dad is watching something really weird, an exotic dancer on a virtual reality thing. Chewbacca's son is watching a commercial for some kind of computer thing that is being advertised by Art Carney. Chewbacca's wife is watching a cooking show where the woman has 4 arms, and that's about it. One of the Golden Girls, I can't remember her name, she owns a bar on Tatooine. It looks a lot like the bar that Luke, Obi-Wan, and Han were talking in A New Hope. And then she has a song about how difficult it is trying to get people out of the bar whenever the Empire has they've said there's a curfew, you need to go home, and then everyone's like, we don't want to go home, and then she's singing a song about that, and then there's a guy there who I think is also played by Art Carney. I think he plays 2 or 3 roles in this. He's a friend of Chewbacca's family, and then we also see him on the TV advertising this thing that Chewbacca's son is watching, and he may or may not be the same character as the friend of Chewbacca's family, and then we also see him with this weird head thing on Tatooine, trying very hard to hit on the Golden Girl, and she's clearly not interested. And none of this really matters. There is absolutely zero reason to watch this. You might have heard this is the introduction of Boba Fett. And yeah, technically it is. There is this brief animated segment here. And honestly, if someone said, this Star Wars thing is huge, we have to do another Star Wars thing to remind people that Star Wars exists before Empire Strikes Back comes out, I think they could have just had the whole thing be a cartoon. I think it looks fine, especially for the 1970s, and I think it would have looked a little better, at least more consistent, if the whole thing was a cartoon. You wouldn't have these very cheap-looking aliens and effects that they had to do in live action on a nothing budget. Like, here's a guy pouring a drink into his head, or here's someone with 4 arms, and it's very clearly someone wearing a cape, and then there's someone behind the cape with 2 other arms sticking out. That's what they were limited to with live action. And if the whole thing had been animation, you could have had Harrison Ford come in and do 15 minutes of recording, and this could have been a Han and Chewie have to get to the Wookiee homeworld. I don't remember if they call it Kashyyyk here or not. They have to get there, and then Han maybe gets knocked unconscious, or he gets captured or something, and then you don't even have to have Peter Mayhew if you don't want to. I don't think Peter Mayhew was the one doing the Chewbacca roars. I think that was something created by Ben Burtt. So then you could just have Chewbacca noises, and then he meets various characters as he's trying to get Han, and then they're trying to get back home or whatever. But in this animated section, first of all, it's weird because Chewbacca's son is watching this story on the TV of Han gets captured. They land on this world where there's some kind of gas leak, and the only way that you don't die is if you are upside down. So at one point, Leia sees this animated section where Han she sees a regular Chewbacca, and Han is upside down, and she's like, well, there's probably a good reason for that. And then later we find out, oh, okay, he's upside down so he doesn't die. And then Luke meets Boba Fett, who claims that he is an enemy of the Empire, and he helps Luke find Chewbacca and Han. And then Boba Fett reveals his true colors, and then he captures Luke, Han, and Chewbacca. And then I just watched this a few days ago. I am 99% sure they don't actually show how Han, Chewbacca, and Luke get away from Boba Fett. At the end of the movie, Han and Chewie just show up on Chewie's doorstep. Hey, we're here. And then they celebrate Life Day. It never explains how they get away from Boba Fett. So yes, this is the introduction of Boba Fett. He shows up in animated form. That's a character I've never really cared about that much, especially since I am mostly just familiar with him from the movies, and he doesn't do a whole lot in the movies. But really, I think you can just take everyone's word for it that this is really awful. You do not need to watch this, and if you do watch it, you are going to be really bored. There's like a 5-minute song and dance number from Jefferson Starship. Then there's a cooking show that Chewbacca's wife watches, and that lasts like 3 minutes. And then there's the exotic dancer that Chewbacca's dad watches, and that lasts like 3 minutes. And it's a whole lot of, this lasts a whole lot longer than it needs to, and it's very clear they didn't have a plot here, so they just needed to throw everything that they could into this to make it last about an hour and a half so that they could have something that they could air. But even the plot of Han and Chewie need to make it home to celebrate Life Day, even that is barely even a part of the holiday special. So it's bad, but if you really think that you need to see it for yourself, it's on YouTube as of me recording this video, so good luck. I hope you don't think that you need to watch it, but that is all that I have to say about the Star Wars Holiday Special. In the meantime, I will see you guys in the future. Have a great rest of the day.